Hi, in this short demo today, we'll be going through the Tonya simple deployment with Spire Kubernetes quickstart. The intent of this demo is to show how you can deploy the Tonya UI on top of a Spire deployment, going through the upstream Kubernetes quickstart guide. The steps in this demo is based on the Spire quickstart documentation here in the Spiffy Tonya repo. So let's get started. So this quick start guide is based on the upstream Spire quick start for Kubernetes. So we open the link here. And what this guide is doing is it goes through the installation of Spire on a new Kubernetes cluster. So in this case, we are going to start with a local minikube cluster that's freshly built. We're going to install Spire and we are going to show how to enable Tonya on top of that. So quickly, I'm going to follow the steps and clone the Spire tutorials repository, which is all the Kubernetes YAML files that we need. Go to Kubernetes Quick Start. And what I'm going to do is to quickly really go through the different steps needed to configure this. I won't be going into detail of the step-by-step, but if you would like, the documentation really details all of that. So just creating the namespaces, creating the configuration that is required for the Spire deployment, the server configuration, and deploying the agents and the server. So once all this is created, we should be able to verify it by looking in the Spire namespace, and we can see that the pods are still getting up and running. So we have in agent daemon set, and we have the Spire server. So making this a little bit bigger, we can see we have the Spire agent and the Spire server running. So now that we have the Spire deployment up, let's go ahead and register the workload. So if we follow the guide here in the quick start guide, we can exec in the container and talk to the server socket to be able to register the node. And we can do the same thing for registering a workload. So at this point, we've started from a fresh Kubernetes cluster, we've installed a Spire deployment, and we've registered a couple workloads. So the next step here is how do we enable Tonya, the control plane / UI on top of Spire. And this can be done pretty simply. So part of this installation is the stateful set, which contains the Spire server. So you can see this is really the pod that's running the Spire server. This is using the upstream Spire server image. And all we really have to do here is to replace the image with the Tonya server image. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave the tag alone because it's for the version. And then we are going to use the Tonya image, which is under tsidentity tornjak-spire-server. So once we have this, we're going to go ahead and apply the stateful set to have the changes be put through. And we can see that the Spire server pod is now being recreated. So what the pod is being recreated, let's talk a little bit about what's happening here. So the Tonya image is actually very similar to the original Spire server image. What it is it's exactly that, as well as what we've done is we've added a HTTP server that runs alongside the Spire server, and that really exposes the Tonya user interface from the pod. So you can see now it's up and running. It looks like a regular Spire server. And what we can do next is we have the HTTP server running on port 10,000. So since we're in Kubernetes, we can try and access that port by doing a port forward. So over here we can say port forward Spire server 0, port 10,000, 10,000. So doing this will now expose the Tonya server to my system here. And I should be able to then go ahead and access port 10,000. And so if I expand my screen now, you can see that we are now able to take a look at the Tonya interface. So this is pretty simple. If you have any other version of Spire server running, you can do the same thing and replace the container image name, and you should be all set. So once you get this up, you can explore the different features of the Tonya server. Now, in the next video, we'll be going through what are some of the features of Tonya that you can take a look at, and how to explore how to use Tonya with your workload identities.